I wish I knew this when I was 20. It would have saved me a lot of relationship drama. Today I'm going to speak to you about why you keep attracting the same type of person just in a different package. Or perhaps if you are looking back at your relationship history or the current relationships in your life, you wonder, why do you find the same patterns repeating themselves? Hi, my name is Patrycja Mahocka and I'm the owner of the Love and Thrive School, where I help people shift from surviving to thriving and live a life of love, safety, and freedom. Today, I want to talk to you about something that I keep telling my clients that I have figured out through my studies as well as coaching. And this is it. Your current partner is a manifestation of the relationship you have with yourself. So your current partner is a physical manifestation of the relationship you have with yourself. This can be applied to any partner, not just your current partner, but your partners in the past. You can look back and see, like, oh, I had this partner that perhaps used to criticize me. Where in my life do I criticize myself? Am I very hard on myself? Do I put myself down? Do I find it very difficult to accept compliments? Do I feel like I'm not enough? Do I constantly keep pushing myself at work or perhaps with exercise and my nutrition goals? Am I very hard on myself? If the answer to any of that is yes, you will start to see your own relationship shadow. That basically means that your partner is shining the light onto the ways in which you treat yourself. You know how that saying goes that we will only allow people to treat us in the same way that we treat ourselves. So we have to be a match for their behavior. Whether you want to call that a vibrational match, an energetic match, a psychological match, we have to match with our partners. So if on the outside I look very put together and I look like I love myself and I do all the things that I should in order to love myself, maybe I get my hair done, makeup, nails, whatever you call self-love. Maybe I try to eat healthy food. But on the inside, I'm abusive to myself, I'm self-critical, I put myself down, I don't see my strengths, I avoid my emotions. When I have an emotion, instead of sitting with the emotion, self-soothing, I do something like go onto social media, which most of us do nowadays. So don't blame yourself. But if I do all those things, I am going to be then a match for a partner that is going to treat me in the same way. And if you look at relationship anxiety, most people who watch these type of videos are going to be either anxious, preoccupied attachment styles or fearful, avoidant attachment styles. Okay, this means that there is some anxiety or fear in relationships and you crave relationships. When you look at these type of attachment styles, usually there is this pattern of self-abandonment and self-betrayal, which basically means if you look at your emotional core, like a literal child, like imagine you holding a child in your hands. And when that child cries or is upset or is scared or experiences any negative emotion, instead of tending to and attuning to that child, you will abandon that child by saying to it, hey, shut up, I don't want to hear you, I am going to watch TV, or I'm just going to go for a run to run off these negative feelings. I am going to, instead of listening to you, tell you that you are wrong and gaslight you because all I want is a connection with somebody else. Okay, so we abandon our emotional core through not attending to our emotional self, and we rather pay attention to other relationships. We prioritize other relationships, which is in itself self-betrayal. And therefore, we are then a match for people in the external world who abandon us, who don't call us back, who betray us either through being with other people or perhaps not prioritizing us, not being fully present with us. So where does it come from? And why is it that some people have luck in love and others don't? In psychology, this is called the self-verification theory. This theory states that we will be attracted to people who confirm what we believe about ourselves, even if that belief is negative. Which means that we are not looking for partners and relationships and work and external circumstances that is going to help us feel better about ourselves, but instead we're looking at the external to match what is already inside. And that is the relationship shadow. If we want to attract a different job, different friend, different partner, we have to stop and look what is going on inside. The one day when I was leaving my friend's gym, he had a sign on the exit door and it said, "Be the person you want to meet." And I kind of took it as in be the person who you want to date. And I know these are all like cliches that we throw around, but we don't really pay attention to what that means. And I'll tell you how it acts in the brain as well just now. But that really triggered me at that point, because I didn't even know how to be that person to myself. I didn't know how to pour love into myself. I was so filled with self-hatred, so filled with self-denial, abnegation, that I didn't even know the way out of that. But I wanted somebody else to love me. I wanted somebody else to show me what that means. And you know, the trick here is that even if you find a person like that in your life that does love you, right? Even if you find somebody who doesn't match your internal beliefs, by some luck you find a person who treats you well, who's kind, who's loving towards you, you will either negate their love for you, you will keep sabotaging the relationship by poking holes, looking for fights. You know how this could look like is, for example, you want to go out to a nice restaurant and your partner eventually plans something nice for you. And they say, okay, let's go out, let's have this wonderful dinner at this restaurant. And in that moment, instead of thinking, wow, they really care about me, they want to spend time with me, you might negate their intention and say, oh, they just want to go to this new restaurant. They're curious about the food, or they are hungry, so they want to go out, or they're just looking for entertainment. So you're literally going to steal that love that they're trying to give you. You're going to not even acknowledge it. You're going to negate it because it doesn't align with what you believe about yourself. And in turn, what you're going to look for is all the little moments when their actions match your negative belief about yourself. Okay, maybe you have a thing about your body image. I know I've had it for a very long time, working through eating disorders and stuff. And I know when I was in the pits of it all, it's not as bad now, it's actually quite good now, but in the pits of it all, when my boyfriend used to look at me, I sometimes used to think, wow, he's judging me. And then when I would ask them eventually later on, you know, when I was in recovery, and I would ask them like, what are you looking at me? Are you judging my body? And they're like, no, I'm actually looking at you thinking you look great. Or like, I'm looking at you and I'm thinking about work. My eyes are just landing in this direction. So we will look for things in our environment that confirms what we already believe about ourselves. This is why some people are so-called lucky in love and they have these amazing people, they meet amazing people, and some of us are not. And this works with the reticular activating system in your brain. The reticular activating system is a filter that filters out information according to what is important to you. So say, for example, you want to buy a red car. You go out into the street and all of a sudden you just see so many red cars. Whatever magazine you pick up, there's a red car on it. Did the number of red cars change in the world? Not at all. What changed? It's what's important to you and what you already believe. You believe that this red car is going to be good for you, it's going to be a good fit for you, and you want to pay attention to that. So that's what is popping up in your awareness. And this is the same thing that happens to us when we are looking for partners. You're not even aware of it, okay? But your body, your subconscious mind, your brain is picking up billions of bits of information per second. Your brain, your conscious mind is very slow. It's very analytical. It takes information in, then it processes it. It's very slow. Your subconscious mind picks up everything through the nervous system. And that's why we don't even have to speak to certain people to find that we are a match energetically, subconsciously. So this is why you will sometimes pick up exactly the same person just in a different body, because it's not about the people. It's about your picker. Okay, so you have to change your picker. That is your internal subconscious belief systems about how you see yourself, how you view the world, how you view others. So some people might say that, you know what, if I change my belief system and if I start to believe that I am good enough, that I am beautiful, that I am worthy, I am just lying to myself. And Marissa Peer, who is a world-renowned hypnotherapist, wrote a book called Tell Yourself a Different Lie. And I absolutely love that, because even she says she works so deeply with the subconscious mind and helping people to change their subconscious mind. All the stories that we tell ourselves are just stories. Why do we believe that the stories that hurt us, the negative stories, are the stories that are true? They are just conditioned into us. Somehow we feel like we have to hold on to them because it was taught to us through our parents, our caregivers, our friends from the past, and somehow we have created an identity around it. So we have created an ego construct around this. And whatever we believe is our ego construct is wired into us in such a way that it links with our survival instinct. This means that we want to hold on to these stories because we think if we let go of that, some part of us is going to die. And yes, on a physiological level, we need to eradicate and erase those old neural pathways that keep coming up. They're telling you that you are not good enough, that you are not worthy, that you're not beautiful, that you can't get that raise, that you, whatever it is that you're struggling with in life. And we have to build a new neural pathway, a new way of thinking, a new way of viewing the world, and a new way of feeling within ourselves. Because what is actually your energy? Energy is created through your thoughts, your brain sending signals to your body. And that is creating electromagnetic charges, that is creating an energy that you have. And you might notice this, that when you go out into the world and you are happy, you are smiling, all of a sudden you notice other people who are smiling. And even the people who don't smile back at you, it doesn't bother you that much because you are in a good space. So when we go out into the world and we can believe good about ourselves, and not just believe it, not just like affirmation, saying it in the mirror, like, 100 times, yes, I'm worthy, yes, I'm going to have this amazing partner. But really feeling it, this is the work that I do actually, and this is what really changed me, is reprogramming and healing subconscious core wounds. And it's quite ironic because when I started studying programming, computer programming. And I don't think a lot of people know that. It's like a fun fact about me. I started studying computer programming. I've always wanted to study psychology, but my life took me in another direction. And now I'm so grateful for that because I have first learned the principles at which our subconscious mind works from very early on in my life. And it works very similar to that into how we have to reprogram our subconscious mind. Because from those deep-rooted belief systems, we get feelings, we get thoughts, and then we get actions. Okay? And that is then creating our lives, not just relationships. I know this is all about like how do you pick the same partner, but I want you to really understand the impact that your belief systems have not only on your partner. Your partner is just like this really physical manifestation of where you can see like, where am I at? Okay, because if I'm not a match for their behavior, the way they are around me is going to be a turn off. So I'm not even going to be interested. It's not that I'm going to necessarily reject them. It might be just like, oh, I'm not into this person. I don't really have anything to talk to them about. And there's no match. There's no connection. Okay, so we need to get that connection on those points that you want. So if you want a partner that is available to you, you need to be available to yourself. If you're unavailable to yourself, you will miss red flags because you will go out into the world and you will find somebody who is unavailable to you, that is not going to call you back, that is not going to arrange dates with you, that you have to chase, that is not going to compliment you, that is not going to be open-hearted to you. And because you're so used to it, it's called the subconscious comfort zone. It's like you're so used to it internally, your subconscious mind goes like, oh, okay, that's a match. You don't even see that as a red flag. The minute you start to treat yourself differently, believe something different about yourself, that behavior, if somebody doesn't call you back and avoids you, is going to be a turn off. It's just going to be like, oh no, this doesn't feel good to me. I don't want this in my life. I'm going to choose something else. Okay, so a lot of people are so focused on what am I attracting into my space. And I always encourage my clients to stop thinking about what are you attracting, because you don't really know and you don't have control over that. You can be attracting a lot of things, like honey. It can attract a lot of things. Beautiful flowers attract a lot of things. So a lot of things can be attracted to you. Don't worry about that. You will attract a whole bunch of stuff. If you're a great person, you will attract all sorts of people from all sorts of walks of life, from a homeless person to a business person and anywhere in between. So don't worry about what you're attracting. The thing that will change your life is, who are you attracted to? Okay, change your point of attraction. Who are you attracted to? Are you attracted to that person who's avoiding you? Are you attracted to that person who's emotionally abusive to you? Are you attracted to that person who is just like, meh, I'm not interested in a relationship? Okay? Because that's what you are choosing. You have the power to choose something different in your life. And the relationships we pick change our lives. The biggest decision we can make in our lives, the most important, is who we pick as our partner, because that will influence every single decision in our lives. And to start with that, don't even focus out there. Just start to love yourself. How can we start with reprogramming our mind, our subconscious mind? Change that filter, change your picker. Okay, so every morning when you wake up, every time after yoga practice, when you are in an alpha brainwave state, okay, that programmable brainwave state. So that could be just like when you're waking up, when you're going to sleep, after yoga, after meditation, after breath work, where you're really chilled out. In that time, set the intention for the day, like, oh, today I'm going to pay attention to and filter out information of how I am loved, of how I am enough, of how I am worthy. All right, so what does this look like? Somebody messages you, hi, how are you doing? Pick that as your practice point. This person wouldn't be messaging you if they didn't care about you. Okay? Somebody wouldn't be making you a cup of coffee if they wouldn't care about you, or a meal or something like that. Your friend checks up on you. Pause and go like, wow, people care. People love me. I am lovable. How does it feel? Where do you feel it in your body? The feeling is the most important part, is because that is creating that new neural pathway, the different energy, the different chemistry in your body. That's creating a different sensation in your body. And of course, that old story is going to come up, okay, because you've charged it so much. You know, like your phone, you charge it, you plug it in, and then the charge lasts for a few hours or a whole day if you're lucky. So those stories we have been charging by thinking about them all the time. You know, we're looking for evidence like, oh, you know what? This person didn't reply to my message. They don't like me. I'm not good enough. That breakup happened, or I lost my job. I'm not good enough. I'm useless. And you keep charging it and charging it and charging it. Okay, so there's a lot of charge to that negative story. So don't expect to do this for a day and then all of a sudden, oh, it's over, it's done, now you think you're worthy. If you have been thinking that for your whole life, okay, at least for 30 days, take time to consciously run these systems through your body throughout the day. Maybe leave post-it notes somewhere, reminders on your phone, to remember to change that picker, your filter, the reticular activating system, to filter out the correct information. Pay attention to that which you want to, okay? And the rest of the stuff, as it comes up, you just notice like, oh, these are the old programs, these are the old patterns, these are the neural pathways that are dying. I'm not going to pay attention to that. You don't have to listen to every single thought that is in your head. You are not the thoughts in your head. You're not the feelings in your body. You can just allow these things to come up. And yeah, they feel uncomfortable. They're like, of course, they feel uncomfortable. If, you know, they have negative charge. They feel like tension. So you can just observe that tension, like, oh, there is a tightness in my chest. Don't add stories to it. Eckhart Tolle causes the pain body, right? What we have negatively charged throughout our lives, all the bad things that happened to us, and also, or not bad things, but things that didn't feel good, all the things that were unresolved are still creating that charge. All those negative stories we told ourselves, about the world, they have that feeling. So the way you discharge it is just you observe it, you allow it to come up, you observe it, and you let it go. And you keep paying attention to the new thing, okay? Set that filter to how you are loved. And if you do this consistently, but I'm not talking about like, oh, in the morning and then you forget, okay? You have to do this consistently throughout the day. You have to pay attention to your mind throughout the day. This is why meditation is so important. You know, when we do this in my coaching practice, we sit and we journal about it, and we have worksheets, and we really lay this out. But this is just a simple exercise that I can share with you now in this video. So, you know, consistently throughout the day, try to like kind of steep and marinate in those feelings and in those thoughts of how you are loved. Look at the smallest pieces of evidence. You know, people are not going to just walk around and tell you like, oh, you're so wonderful, I love you, you're so worthy. They will show you through the actions. Okay, pick the small action. Somebody asks you out for coffee, they clearly want to connect with you. Somebody sends you a message, means they care about you. Okay, pick that. And your negative thoughts will tell you, no, but they just want something, they want connection, or whatever the negative story is that is going to try to steal away the new belief. Just notice, observe, feel it, let it go, keep focusing on that new sensation, on the new belief that you are in fact love, you are worthy, you are good enough. And things will start to shift on the most drastic level. And the people who you will be attracted to will shift. And it's going to revolutionize not only your relationships, but your self-love and everything else in your life. So let me know if you try this, if you want to try this. Let me know if you want any more information about it in the comments below. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you for watching. And I will see you in the next one. Big love.